Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce, investment management for your lifetime. Hosted by Joe Dunn. Contributing sponsors include Summa Health. It's your health. Let's own it together. Hilton Akron Fairlawn, the preferred hotel of Zips Athletics. And the Spaghetti Warehouse, famous for its 15-layer lasagna.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a brand new season of Zips Basketball Weekly with head coach John Groce. Brought to you again this year by the Wentz Financial Group. Well, the Zips are 9 games into the season, and the news is good. Akron right now with a record of 7-2 after a nice win over Southern University Sunday afternoon over at Rhodes Arena. The Zips right back home next Sunday at 2 o'clock to take on Concord of West Virginia as we bring in the head coach of the Zips, John Groce. And Coach, I talked to you before the season, and the one thing you told me, you like your basketball team.
I do. I enjoy coaching them. They're very coachable. The attitudes, their effort level from a consistency standpoint, Joe, has been terrific. And they want to learn. They want to get better. I thought that, as we look at really our preseason even and the way that the guys approach the offseason leading into the year, they had a very professional approach about it. You could tell they wanted to do special things together. Sure. And, the way you do that's by honoring the process every day.
Exactly.
Making every day matter. And this group, for the most part, has done that.
With that being said, Coach, what are you happy about, and what does this team have to get better at before we go into conference action in January?
Well, I think defensively we're ahead of our offense, for sure.
Yeah.
And you look at it statistically, it shows you that. And then just from my eye test, watching all of our film from practices and preseason scrimmages and now 9 games, I see it. And that's good. I think it's become a staple for us. We all know how good we defended last year on a national level and on a conference level. And we want that to be a real staple of our program. And our guys have continued with that. On that side of the ball, my 2 biggest concerns are defensive rebounding and then continuing to defend with the physicality and the effort that's required to be successful, but to do it without silly fouling. Gotcha. So to me, it's about those 2 things. Offensively, we're getting better by the game. The statistics show that. I feel that way watching us. And our guys are getting used to playing with each other and are playing very well together. We've got to take a little bit better care of the basketball as we're playing a faster, more up-tempo style than we did the first 2 years.
Sure.
As you play with pace, you also have to play with purpose.
Right.
And we're trying to find that balance. And then our ability to finish 2-point field goals in the paint, Joe. We've got to improve our paint production. The good news is we're getting it there more than we did the first 2 years, but we've got to come up not quite as shorthanded as we have through 9 games, and we've got to be a little bit more efficient in that area.
There you go. That's a quick update on what the Zips are doing. If you haven't seen the Zips play, we're going to have a special ticket package we're going to talk about later in the program. You'll be able to see all the Mid-American Conference games beginning in January. But right now, let's take a look at some of the games this year, give a few comments from Coach Groce. Of course, the season opened at home, Coach, against Malone, and they were a scrappy team.
They really are. It's interesting watching them. I enjoyed watching them in terms of preparation, and then obviously coaching against them live. I was even more impressed. I thought they ran good things offensively. I thought they had a real good camaraderie and morale about their team, and they're very well coached. It was a great challenge for us. We had to defend a lot of screening actions, and so a lot of the things that we had prepared for throughout the preseason defensively came up that night. And our offense was really high octane in transition as we got out and were able to score 20-plus points in our transition or our running game, as you see a few of the clips here indicating that.
Zips led 39-30 at the half, and Coach, for the first time, he had a couple players putting on a Zip uniform for the first time, Cameron Reese and Zarius Williams, and they played well for you.
They have. All of our newcomers have really contributed and added a lot of value and, made us a more a deeper team, and I think we have more weapons. You look at our games and, one game a guy may have 20, the next game he has 10, and a guy who has 10 that next game has 20, and we've got a lot of different weapons. We can play big, we can play small, we can play up tempo, we can grind it out a little bit. I think our team is very, very versatile.
Second game of the season, the Zips traveled down to Morgantown, West Virginia to take on Bob Huggins and the Mountaineers. And Coach, this is the first indication to me that you had a special group. Akron was down, I think, 47-33 at halftime, and there was a chance this could get ugly, but your team didn't let that happen. They battled back big time in the second half.
No, we played terrific in the second half and cut it to a 4-point game when Zarius Williams had the ball on a full court dribble, and we ended up turning it over there under a minute to go in Morgantown. And our guys really battled and fought. And great lesson for our guys, because it was really the last 10 minutes of the first half, and that's going to come up again here in another game we're going to talk about here shortly, really hurt us. And other than that, I really felt like 30 of the 40 minutes we, fought them toe-to-toe. And when you look at it, when you're playing a team like West Virginia and Morgantown, and you have a 10-minute stretch where you take bad shots and you have a lot of live ball turnovers, it can often be the difference, and that certainly, in my opinion, was the difference that night.
Zips outscored the Mountaineers 51-47 in the second half, and now we're on to Game 3 of the season. Coach, North Carolina Central, and the Zips had a solid first half against that group. They were led 27-15 at the break.
Yeah, we did. It was interesting. When I think about that game, obviously we've talked about our defense here in the early parts of the show. I thought our defense carried us that night. Our offense was anemic. We did not make shots. Right. Part of it was execution, but a lot of it was shot making that night, Joe, and we just didn't make shots. But our defense carried the day, and I've always said if you can defend and take care of the ball and rebound at a certain level, that always travels, whether it's a home game, a road game, or a neutral game, doesn't matter.
You turned them over 17 times, Coach, and blocked 5 of their shots, so defense was key.
Got a lot of length and a lot more athleticism across the board, Joe, this year. And so our ability to affect the rim with shot blocking and presence on the ball and some length certainly has improved from the first 2 years now here in our third season.
Of course, had 3 players in double figures that game. You have had balanced scoring most of the first 9 games of the year.
We have. I've always wanted to coach a team, Joe, that's had 5 guys average double figures when you pick up the final stat sheet. I think you got 4 right now, don't you? We have a chance. Yeah. We have a lot of different weapons and can really play inside as well as outside basketball. We can drive the ball. I'd like to get to where we're posting it a little bit more and being a little bit more efficient with that. And as we talked about earlier, our 2-point finishes in that paint, that's important. Good offensive teams are able to finish somewhere in between 55 and 60% on paint twos, and we've got some work to do there and are working really hard to improve in that area.
As we said, the Zips are 7-2 right now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the offseason is always key for a basketball team, both on the court and off the court. We're going to take a look at what the Zips did in the offseason right after this timeout.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we do not have a cookie-cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
The University of Akron is more than a college or campus.
It's a connection to the community.
To the thousands of opportunities right here in Northeast Ohio.
And to the partnerships with employers and organizations.
Like the LeBron James Family Foundation, where we connect kids to life-changing possibilities.
It's the strength of UA, this city, and these connections.
It's where students make an impact on their community and in the world.
While still making an impact
in the classroom,
on the track,
in the boardroom,
and in my community.
That's what makes us the University of Akron.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Basketball Weekly with head coach John Groce. And Coach, a lot of fans think once the season is over, everybody goes their separate ways, but you keep everybody on campus. That off-season, I know, is very important for you.
Joe, it's critical.
Yeah.
To player development, to team growth and development and cohesiveness. And, I always tell them that, my quote, I say to them all the time, that there become a point in time here soon, fellas, where winners going to ask, what the heck did we get done last summer?
Sure.
And so I thought our summer training camp, our fall training camp, our preseason was as good as it's been since I've been here, and certainly give the guys a lot of credit for that, because it is a grind.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be a grind for a reason. And the guys really embraced it, and I thought our team and a lot of our individual players really improved.
Well, let's give you a look right now what the Zips did in the offseason. A lot of fun and a lot of work.
average players want to be left alone. The good players, they want to be coached. The great players want what? They want to be told the truth.
In the book it says, a player may sacrifice something insignificant like a shot or one possession. And I feel like that relates to us because, you know, we all coming from high school, dream college being the best player on the team. And like right now, we gotta sacrifice what our role was in the previous school and make sure it's better here. So we gotta cut that stuff out.
Another quote, it says, a word of caution here, there's a huge difference between attention and intentional. He says, I know people have great intentions to do great things with their lives, but they never get around to them. So let's just focusing on doing your job.
We're really an odd team in that, you know, we have this group of guys that are what I call our senior citizens group, you know, that are pretty old and experienced and have a lot of reps and games under their belt. And then we have just a ton of newcomers. You know, we've got Trimble and Daly. We've got the freshmen and Edwards and Tribble and Ali. You know, Zarius didn't play, although he was in the system last year for the sit-out year. The other day was his first chance to play against someone, you know, other than our own guys in well over a year. You know, so we've got a blend of guys, new guys, old guys. And, you know, I think from a team chemistry standpoint, the good news is that the guys really like each other. They like being around each other. This is as comfortable as I've been taking a team into a challenge like this since I've been at Akron. And that's a credit to you guys. We've got talent here. We've got depth in here. I think we've got the right mindset here. And most importantly, you've prepared the right way. You started thinking about spring and summer and fall and weightlifting and wacky Wednesdays and the retreat and the grind of preseason practice. You deserve the right to play well. You deserve the right. You earned this. From great challenges come great opportunities.
Well, I hope you enjoyed watching what the Zips did during the offseason and the preseason. Coach, if you hadn't gone into coaching, you might have been a professional bowler. You looked pretty good on picking up that spare.
They showed my best shot.
That was your best shot of the day?
Yeah.
That's all these the highlights,
Coach.
Coach.
There
you go.
To the video crew.
There you go. Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more highlights right here on Zips Basketball Weekly.
Roman was born with a hole in his heart. But thanks to the experts at Summa who found the problem and fixed it quickly, he's feeling 26 again. Not 76. Minimally invasive heart procedures, many performed in under 2 hours. Summa Health, vital for getting back in the game and more.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we do not have a cookie cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group, investment management for your lifetime.
Welcome back to week number 1 of Zips Basketball Weekly. A quick reminder, the Zips are back home this Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock tip-off against Concord. We'll talk about that game and more next week. But right now, let's go back and pick up highlights. And, of course, the Zips right now at 7-2. This is game number 4 of the season against USC Upstate, Coach. And you led by 11 at halftime.
We did, and then we were able to propel, continue to move forward in the second half. And I thought really put 2 halves together. You know, after that particular game, at that juncture, Joe, I told our staff I thought it's the best we had played all year in terms of 40 minutes. And so I thought we did a lot of really good things. We moved the ball well. We were unselfish. We defended, played with great energy. And then I just thought that guys, really stepped up and made plays. We made shots. So it was a good night for the Zips.
Of course, you won by 20 points, I think, in the second half. You went on to win that game 76-45. Lauren Christian Jackson with 18. Greg Tribble, who's really coming on, a young freshman from Cincinnati, coach, had 11 in that game.
Yeah, Greg's got major upside. He's doing a great job for us now, adds a lot of value. I really trust Greg and Ali, our two freshmen that we've played, have really earned that right through what they did in the fall training camp preseason and here in the early part of the season. Excited about both guys, not only this season, but moving forward. They're certainly a big part of our team now and a big part of our future.
Of course, that was part of the Global Sports Shootout, Coach. You picked up, what, 3 or 4 games with that or not?
We did, yeah, 3 home games, and then obviously the 4th game was at Louisville.
Right. How about Youngstown State? That is always a big rivalry. Youngstown State came in, and, boy, the Zips put it to them defensively, Coach.
We did. We really guarded, played with, again, back-to-back games there. Went from Upstate to Youngstown State, where then after this one, I thought it was the best that we had played. So we were really making good progress. I thought we played really hard. Thought we had a great spirit about us. The one thing about this team that I really appreciate, these guys really like each other. They like playing for each other. And it shows, both on and off the court. That night, our defense really spearheaded us, like you said, and it gave us a chance to get out and transition and get some easy baskets. Thought our execution and our ability to do our job at both ends of the floor was at a really high level.
Beat the Penguins by 22, 82-60. Coach, you were 13 out of 32 from three-point range. That's pretty good shooting, isn't it?
Yeah, it took good ones. It's a big reason why we shot a high percentage, and we've got multiple guys that can make them. And I thought we really shared the ball. We really moved the ball, played together, and it was great for us in terms of having that type of game, certainly heading into the Louisville game.
And this is the Louisville game, a huge challenge for the Zips, the #1 team in the country. Louisville, that was November 24th down at the Yum Center. Great place to coach and play. 15,000 fans watching you guys play.
Yeah, that was a great environment against obviously what then became after this game, shortly thereafter, the #1 team in the country. So, obviously it was a great challenge. Very similar to Morgantown. Unfortunately, Joe, we had about a 10-minute stretch there to end the first half. It was 25-22 with 9:35 to go. And then we get outscored and don't play really well. Live ball turnovers, bad shots, and now it's 16-point lead at halftime. And then, as you know, you were there, we battle back and really fight and put ourselves in position to have a chance to win the game in the last minute or two. And I appreciate our kids doing that. So once again, another one where we played about 30 of the 40 minutes really well or toe-to-toe with them. And it was about a 10-minute stretch that got us that, I'm hoping as we continue to move forward, we'll be more consistent and can put that full 40 minutes together when we play teams of that level.
Really put a scare into the Cardinals, Coach. You outscored them in the second half. And I told Steve French, there was a lot of people leaving that game. There was a lot of people trying to get back into that game with about 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, no, it was, we were right there at the end, just a play or two.
Yeah.
Had a really good 3 by Zarius Williams there in the right slot that could have cut it to a 1-possession game. And one certainly that we'll take anytime we can get that, and it just didn't go in. But certainly made things interesting and really competed. Obviously the next step for us is we want to get over the hump in a game like that and win it.
Exactly. We're going to take a break, come back with our Player of the Month and much more right after this.
The University of Akron is more than a college or campus.
It's a connection to the community.
To the thousands of opportunities right here in Northeast Ohio.
And to the partnerships with employers and organizations.
Like the LeBron James Family Foundation, where we connect kids to life-changing possibilities.
It's the strength of UA, this city, and these connections.
It's where students make an impact on their community and in the world.
While still making an impact
in the classroom,
on the track,
in the boardroom,
and in my community.
That's what makes us the University of Akron.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we do not have a cookie-cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
Okay, right now it's time to name our Player of the Month and our Player on the Rise. How about our Player of the Month? He's a young man out of Albany, Georgia. 6'5" senior guard Tyler Cheese came off the bench first part of the season, had 15 points against West Virginia, 15 more against Louisville. Coach seems to play his best in the big games.
He does. Tyler loves the moment. He's always been that way, even when we recruited him. And there's no question about that. And offensively, he's just so gifted, Joe. I mean, he can shoot it, pass it, dribble it. Really is a smart player, extremely intelligent, sees the game, spends a lot of time watching the game. So even away from our games and our practices, Tyler and I, he'll text me, hey, did you see the game winner or the end of game action that a certain NBA team ran last night?
Sure.
You know, he's all the time watching basketball. He loves basketball. I appreciate that about him. He's very intelligent, very thoughtful when it comes to the game. And, obviously he's a big part of what we do.
Congratulations to Tyler Cheese. How about our player on the rise? And he's a newcomer to the Zips, but not a newcomer to college basketball. 6'9" senior Zarius Williams from Springfield, Ohio. Coach, he's developed into a great team leader for you, averaging nearly a double-double a game. Had a monster game on the road at Marshall, 25 points, 14 rebounds, and he seems like he's getting better after sitting out a year.
He really is. And, obviously we've tried to be patient with him because he didn't shoot the ball real well early, Joe. But he started to catch fire here of late. And, I've reminded people, not only did he not play last year during the sit-out year, he only played in 5 or 6 games the previous year before the sit-out year at Dayton. So it had been a little while. And the experience that he's gathered here through these 9 games has been critical for him and our team. And the one thing, and you mentioned it, he's averaging nearly a double-double. He's rebounded it. He's blocked shots.
Done it all.
He's led with his voice. So even when he wasn't making shots early, he's a guy that was impacting the game in a multitude of ways. Now that he's making shots, it's just adding another dimension that we already knew that, he could do that. Water always finds its level. And so we knew we had great faith that, X would start making shots as long as he takes good ones.
Boy, he's fun to watch, too. If you haven't watched the Zips play, we're going to talk about the ticket packages in a second. But this is finals week for Akron basketball. They have a game coming up this Sunday against Concord. And, Coach, every time you bring a D2 team in, that's like the Super Bowl for them. That's always a dangerous game.
It is, and Coach May does a good job. They always have, they're very organized, structured. They'll test our transition defense, and they run good stuff, man-to-man defensively. And we'll be challenged, so we've got to get ready. We're just coming off a game against Southern. I know we haven't spent a whole lot of time talking about that, where we didn't play as well as we would have liked to have played. And so now we've got a chance this week to focus on us during finals week, Joe. So a couple of our workouts this week, we won't even talk about opponent. And then obviously Friday and Saturday, we'll dive deeply into Concord and make sure that we're ready to play at 2 o'clock and play a lot better, certainly, than we did against Southern.
Quickly want to bring up the trip to Washington, D.C., because, Coach, I think your non-conference schedule is really good. And now you've got real challenge coming up in the nation's capital. You got a Tulane team that's much improved. Liberty is undefeated right now, so that's going to be a heck of a challenge there.
It is, and even in Towson, my brother's team at Xavier played Towson, and he told me, John, they're really good, they're talented, and I know the coach, Pat Scarry, does a great job. They play with great toughness. So it'll be a great tournament, and I think we finish up non-conference with UMass here at home.
That's right,
so,
on the 30th.
We put together a schedule I thought that really fit this team that's going to challenge us as we get ready to head into league play.
If you haven't watched the Zips yet, here is your chance to watch all Mid-American Conference home games beginning in early January. It only costs $75. That's right, $75 for every Mid-American Conference home game for the Zips. Call the University of Akron Athletic Ticket Office at 888-99-AKRON. Tell them you heard all about it right here on Zips Basketball Weekly. And, Coach, quickly, get a full house. Those guys play much harder for you, right?
No, they sure do, yeah. And we appreciate it when our fans come out, and the students have come out here early as well. We're appreciative of them. And best of luck with final exams this week. You and I were talking off the air there. I remember those days, and I know it'll be a big relief once they finish up. But students, we appreciate you.
Coach, we'll see you back here next week for Zips Basketball Weekly. Always remember, go Zips.
Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce, investment management for your lifetime. Hosted by Joe Dunn. Contributing sponsors include Summa Health. It's your health. Let's own it together. Hilton Akron Fairlawn, the preferred hotel of Zips Athletics. And the Spaghetti Warehouse, famous for its 15-layer lasagna.
This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield IMG College. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of Learfield IMG College.